Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the A3U Review.
At long last, Alex, we are gonna have our kit bashing episode.
Finally!
This episode,
yes,
we are gonna break apart that SDCC slash Hasbro slash regular Combiner Wars Devastator and make you the ultimate Devastator, or at least what we think is.
Yes, and man, it was a long time coming. We know that it took a while, but I think it's gonna be worth it.
I think so too.
Yes, and then moving on after that, we are going to give you guys a comparison between the Hasbro Combiner Wars G1 Menasor and now the G2 version, and we're going to take a look at that. So my name's Alex.
I'm Boris.
You're watching the A3U Review. So this is the moment that you've been waiting for. We've been holding off on this for a while, but we said we'd do it. Here it is. Check out Devastator.
We did our own little kit bash. Now I know I promised that I would kind of put together what I felt were the best versions of the Devi and kind of spice them together.
Yep.
Now me and Alex kind of went over all three of them, and to be really honest, I was tempted to use the Takara one.
Yep.
But it didn't actually have as much on it that I really wanted to salvage. A lot of the paint apps were actually missing on a lot of the individual bot pieces, for example.
That's right. We talked about that in our previous comparison.
Exactly. There are definitely a couple of things they did that were a little bit different, like such as the purple thighs that they have for the Takara version. Mm-hmm. They had like the crane.
Yeah.
But I personally didn't feel like it was substantial enough to warrant breaking up that figure just to take a few parts off of it.
Yeah.
And if I was to recommend a kit bash, I would never recommend someone spend, upwards of a few $100s just so they could reclaim a few pieces on something.
Yeah.
So what I actually focused on was I used a lot of the Hasbro SDCC Combiner Wars Devastator and the regular release of the Combiner Wars Devastator, and I just used those two and kit bashed them and then put a PC06 kit on it to kind of give it a little bit more definition and wider shoulders, the proper mixer on the foot, the Mixmaster vehicle foot. Let me explain why I kind of made those decisions. What I did was I literally took each of the limbs and I stripped off all the little chrome parts, right?
Yeah. Boris really took apart a lot of Constructicons for this had to happen.
Yeah, I probably made some collectors cry when they saw me take apart the SDCC that they waited in line for so long. But I didn't break anything. They're just very easy, like
it's
screws.
Just screws. Yeah.
Yeah, they just you just take off the screws on the back of a lot of the figures. One thing to really pay attention to, when you go through a lot of figures in general, is there's certain screws that you need to take off first before you can get to other screws.
Yeah.
But other than that, they're actually super easy. So let's just kind of quickly talk about this and what I had to do. So you can see when you use the SDCC Devastator, you get the use of all these awesome tires.
Yeah.
But the big challenge on Mixmaster was to take off the chrome barrel.
Mixer,
the mixer barrel. The mixer drum, sorry. And then also it had a chest piece that was chrome. So this part was especially hard, and you guys should really pay attention to what you're doing because you really do have to take off a few screws before you can get to the others. And it's all from this little hip joint here that swivels so that its foot can move around, right? If you take a look at the actual Mixmaster once it's off the leg, it actually has a ratcheting kind of a joint. And I'm just going to attempt to do it here, Alex, without dropping the whole thing.
Okay.
You hold the other leg.
Yeah.
But you can see how this leg kind of pivots, right? This foot here.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah, you see how that pivots?
Yeah.
Well, when you got him out on its own, when you have that limb out on its own, it pivots quite a bit, and it'll reveal one of the screws. So you have to remove that screw once the screws reveal.
And it's pretty like it's a complex process. I mean, you got to know which part to take off first.
Yeah, so it's really not all that hard once you see the footage, you know, of how I'm doing it. You really just have to make sure you expose those screws and pull them out while you're doing it. You'll get this nicely developed piece here where it's got all the nice paint apps and the ladder and everything, and then you retain the regular purple. Another reason why I use the SDCC and the regular Hasbro release is because they've got a similar green. Yep. There's actually no difference in the green that they use, whereas Takara has a slightly it's like a slightly darker, richer green. Yeah. Very, very slight, but when you look at it in the light, you could tell the differences. So mixing those two together didn't seem like the right thing to do, so I did not do that for that reason as well. If you guys are afraid that you would be missing a lot of the individual articulation for the bots for you know, what Takara had, there's no point in buying the whole Takara set just to get those joints. No. You can invest in the PC07 kit, which pretty much does the similar things. It gives those extra pivoting hinges for the arms and whatnot. And then if we go over and look at the his
Scrapper?
Yes, sorry. I was trying to say right foot actually, but it's funny that we thought of his name before we thought of the actual leg that it is. But same deal. I utilized all of the painted rims and those pieces and the nice detail on the bot. Yeah. With the gold and everything on the legs, and then I swapped out all the chrome on the chest. Yeah. And this piece was actually one of the first ones we were doing, right, Alex? Yeah. And that's the chest that I was showing you. Yep. So as you can see, the chrome chest, you know, comes right off, pop it right off, and then this piece here too. So all these chrome pieces, they just pop off after you unscrew it. And Scrapper was a little bit easier to deal with because it really didn't have a whole lot going on. Yeah. So you could unscrew everything really easily and handle it. And then you got to the upper part of the torso, which was actually fairly easy because the arms themselves, I just kept the SDCC arms. Yeah. They were already perfect. There's no chrome on it, so you just pop those right off, use it as is. It's also got the forearms that's got the silver on it. This is the little extension and the purple hands and everything. That comes from the PC06 kit. If you don't have the PC06 kit, I mean, it's still gonna look good. You just have the black hands. Yeah. And then you don't have these extensions. These are from the PC06 kit too. They kind of widen the shoulders, give him this like much wider, more accurate stance. Long haul you can also keep from the SDCC version. Yep. You don't have to do anything there. No chroming on him. And I actually like it better because it's got the blue. Oh yeah. And a little bit of variation in color there. The hardest part was Hook. It's because he actually has chrome, but the way that it splits into two pieces. Oh yeah. You had to kind of remove both pieces, and then Hook also is connected to the head sculpt, which I thought at first I could just unscrew the back of the head, and on the Takara version it actually comes right apart when I did it in the store. The SDCC version also, when I did that part, it seemed to loosen, but when it came to the Hasbro one, I couldn't for the life of me like remove it. So I mean, I would recommend, obviously, if you want that head sculpt, to take off the head sculpt first. See if you can do that. But if you can't, like I couldn't, don't wreck it. Honestly, it's not worth it. Yeah. Leave it, because you can take off it's a little bit more complicated, but you basically take off the legs.
Yes. Okay.
So you take off Hook's legs, you take off his torso, and then that whole middle piece is the assembly for the main Devi head, and you just swap it with the visor version.
Yeah.
I like the visor version. I don't know about you.
The visor version is actually pretty nice.
Yeah, I kind of rather have that than the visorless.
Yeah.
And then again, I wouldn't spend a few $100s just to get the gimmick part of the Takara if you're just thinking of getting that part. I mean, I did like the darker colors. A lot of people don't though.
Yeah.
So if you want it like accurate, I mean, I think this is really the nicest one is the visored head from the regular release. But yeah, as you can see, I've taken off all the chrome on Hook and then still retained all of Hook's like extra kind of decaling and the stickering. But yeah, that's kind of all I did. And then I put on the PCO6 kit. Do you think this is like the best of the versions that we've looked at?
Well,
bashing these together?
I'm gonna have to agree because, well, first of all, you got the PCO6 on there. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But the kit bashing itself, I think that, in a way, this is the definitive Devastator. Because, first of all, we got rid of those chrome parts. I'm not knocking chrome parts, but, like, it just sometimes doesn't always go well. Mm-hmm. So, let's get rid of the chrome parts, replace them. So, that right there is already great. Next thing you do, you keep the silver tires. You have to have that, okay? I mean, if you had to choose between one or the other, you're definitely going with silver tires. Next thing we're doing is just making the colors all consistent, right? So, and then adding those extra details with the parts that have, like, you know, the extra highlights. You gotta go with that. There wasn't that much you really needed to do with the top part, except for just get the PCO6 parts on it. I think everybody can, I mean, most people can agree with those changes that you've done, those modifications. I think this is the definitive Devastator. I'm really curious to see what happens when you put this in the store, and then people are going to be like, how did you make this happen? How do you get that?
Did you custom paint some of this?
Yeah.
That's why I liked this kit bash, because I also chose to do it this way because this is the quickest and easiest way. Like, if you're at home and you want to do something like this, you don't want to spend a whole lot of time. Like, honestly, to take out, like, I think there were, like, maybe, like, under 30 screws that I had to unscrew to get, like, this going. I mean, that unscrewing part took maybe the longest, but other than that, like, just swapping parts, this is the easiest way to get the best, I think, definition in it.
Yeah.
I know that some people out there might go a little bit further and do like more minor parts and move all those around, but honestly, I think if you just take the chrome parts out, swap them out, it's already looking amazing.
Yeah.
The only complaint I have is on the PCO6 kit, I actually replaced the arm, and the arm on the PCO6 lacks all the definition.
Yeah.
You'll know what I mean, because if you look at the actual SDCC one, it has all the wires, they're all painted silver.
Oh, yeah.
But the scoop is that little mini kind of excavator scoop, and it just doesn't look great.
Yeah.
So I have to go with something that looks more proportionate.
Yeah.
And I'm willing to forego the extra paint. Maybe if you are a painter out there, you can just quickly paint it with the silver
highlights,
or give like some
like black cables
highlights.
or something.
Exactly. Yeah, do something there. It would probably make that PCO6 kit scream. But I mean, honestly, if you did nothing but got the kit, got those two Devies, bashed them together, sold your chrome bashed together, you know, Hasbro, regular Devastator, you'd save some money and you'd have a really nice looking Devastator. But please don't be like me. This took actually a little bit longer than we want. This is why we can't do the Defensor kit bash today. We were supposed to do that, remember?
Originally, yes, but this took a while.
It took a while because stupid me didn't document some of the screws, so I had to backtrack and figure out through my other. Thank God I had a third Devi to look at. But you know, please, if you only have the two, don't dismantle it before you document what screws go with which parts.
Yeah, and
just take a quick picture with your phone.
Yes,
I mean, it's pretty easy.
Yeah,
just do that. and then you can document all the screws. Get little baggies or get a tray.
Yeah. Very, very good advice.
Yeah, you can get one of those like trays that have all those little slots, like the little bead trays. That my wife uses for beading.
Yeah.
You could use that even. That does wonders.
Do that. Find a way to organize your parts. All right. Don't get all the parts mixed up, and then just plan out what you want to change. You know, plan it out maybe on paper or in your head. But at the end of all of this, make sure you find a way to plan out what it is you really want to replace. Because don't just wing it. Otherwise, you're going to be spending tons of time just trying to figure out what you want. Like this guy over here.
Like me. When at the end of the day, I figured out all I really wanted to do was replace a few pieces.
Yeah, exactly.
It really was that simple.
Yeah.
If you do have questions about a certain part, I'd be more than happy to answer it in the comments below on how to take it apart.
Yep. So in our next segment, we're going to take a look at two different versions of Menasor from the Combiner Wars line. Menasor, the original version, and now here's G2 version, which just came out recently.
It's actually probably not even hit some stores yet, but we've had it for a week now, and I fully enjoy this one. We already did the G2 Superion previously.
Yeah.
So they kind of went with the same kind of theme and decided, we're going to do G2 Menasor.
Yes.
Now, as you know, there's a huge mystique to the G2 Menasor because there was actually never really a G2 Menasor that was production ready. They had prototypes, and they had several of the prototypes. They even went as far as making an exclusive for Breakdown.
Yeah.
For BotCon, which is still one of my favorite exclusives. I don't own one myself, but I would love to. Just don't have that kind of cash. But you know, those who have it on card know that it is an amazing piece and an amazing piece of history as well.
Yes.
The coloring is quite out of this world, and
it's very wacky.
Yeah, and I think it was kind of awesome to finally see Hasbro develop a G2 Menasor, even though it wasn't the G1 mold.
Yeah.
To see it in the colors come to fruition is actually quite awesome for me. Personally, I love this whole Miami Vice Stunticons.
Yeah.
It screams that era, and I remember when these colors were like seriously amazing.
Yeah.
When we were kids.
Yeah.
All these bright colors. Ice cream was that color. Shoes were that color. I loved it. So I think more than the Superion, this really captured that G2 essence for me.
Well, I'm gonna have to agree that this is pretty cool. Now, in a previous episode, I said that I prefer the G1 Superion over the G2 Superion. I'm kind of the opposite in this one. I really like these wacky colors, and a lot of it just has to do with the fact that these are cool colors. And in the G2 one, I find that they clash. This clashes, but it clashes in a cool way. It works. I don't know what it is. The yellow, the turquoise, this really nice blue. Everything about it, just it feels like it is something that they wanted to do, and they just went with it. They just said, whatever, let's throw a bunch of colors together, let's go with it and see what comes out, and somehow it just worked.
I think that's what struck me the most. So when you first get this, it comes in a gift set.
Yeah.
You pull it out, you see right away they're all in their vehicle modes, and it's just such bright colors, but like just the right brightness.
Yes.
They're not pastel, then like dumbed down.
Yeah.
Like this is just a really bright, saturated yellow. Same thing with the turquoise. Same thing with the red, and it's just like, bam! It's like in your face.
Yeah.
But just in such an amazing way.
I like it.
I love it, and like you hit it right on the head. The Motormaster in the blue and those brilliant purples.
Yeah.
It's like, it's a win. Don't get me wrong, I love the original Stunticon colors.
Yeah.
They're great, but this set just it beats the original set.
I think you have to have this.
You kind of do.
You gotta get this.
Yeah, and it's a great value for the set too. I mean, you get the you even get the blackjack in the odd purple turquoise colors, but it works with blackjack. It really works well. Just all of it came together. Even if you get it and you just want to display it in vehicle mode, it just looks so funky and so great. Of course, on this set here, I have the PCO2 hands and feet, I believe it is.
One of the perfect effect.
One of the perfect effect. I believe it's the PCO2. Just so you know, the regular version does come with the black hands and feet like him. But there is going to be a G2 set coming out for Menasor. I can't wait till that comes out because that'll complete this whole look. It'll give it the right proportions and just make it really look fabulous.
For
me, this is definitely a win.
For sure, I agree.
And I would agree with you astoundingly, with an astounding yes, sorry. It is much better than the original Stunticons.
Yeah, but don't get us wrong.
Combiner Wars.
This is fantastic. This is great. We all love the original, right? But you know what? Looking back at the Superion, G1 and G2 version, Superion is just like you either like one or the other. This one you could actually like both. These colors make it like an entirely different character in itself.
Yeah, it's done so well. So glad Hasbro did this. Please, if you haven't picked up this set, do it.
Do it. It's
now.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's I was a little bit skeptical at first because of the way I felt about G2 Superion, but after seeing it in person, these are really nice colors and they just go well. So I'm gonna have to say that's a must buy.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Well, that's our comparison for the Combiner Wars Menasor G1 and G2 version. And that's our episode for today. We hope you enjoyed it.
And next episode, we're gonna finally finish off the kit bashing.
Finally.
We missed the Unite Warriors Defensor today because, as you saw, I was lost in all the pieces of Devastator.
But now we have the experience.
That's right. It took us a little bit longer. I mean, I've done kit bashes before. I just very sloppy. So don't do as I do. Do as I say. But yeah, we'll look at Unite Warriors Defensor versus the Hasbro Defensor. Should be a pretty quick one because there's only a few things that I would change on that one.
Yeah. And then following after that, we're going to take a look at MP28 Hot Rod. That's something that you guys have been waiting for, so we're going to give you guys that. And also, I think that now's a great time to use the comment section below to take an opportunity to ask about how we managed to make that kit bash happen. Because, I mean, it was a pretty complex process. And I'm sure you guys have questions, so let us know in the comment section below. And also, while we're on the topic of that, if you don't agree with the way we put together Devastator, then why don't you guys also let us know how you would put it together if it was going to be done differently. So use the comment section for that. So as always, if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, Ages 3 and Up, and also follow us on Twitter at Ages 3 and Up. We'll see you next time. Peace.
See you next time.
Peace.